Bonjour, ça va? I am Paul. I'm one of the co-hosts of the podcast Rhythm and Rome, along with my other two co-hosts, Tricia and Benef. Today's episode, I want to give you guys a little bit of lay of the land. The episode is going to be about the Olympic Mania. And if you were living on a rock or something, the Olympics, folks, was held in Paris this year. For those who don't know, I've been living in Paris for the past 3 years. So what I wanted to do this episode will be a little bit different. I had the opportunity to attend a lot of the Olympic events. I attended, for example, track and field, some of the rugby, along with beach volleyball. As you know, our podcast Rhythm and Rome talks about, travel, culture, misconceptions, similarities of, everything, all in between. I hope you will enjoy the different interviews and kind of things that I tried to show about, the Olympics, as well as was able to travel to other different regions in France and just experiencing, diving into headfirst the culture. And it was amazing time. So, you'll hear me talk about with my interviewers, what they liked and so on. So taking you guys now, without further ado, to the journey. And I hope you guys enjoy. What you'll see are just some great interviews along with landscape, if you're able to watch it, and hearing some of our thoughts when it comes to travel and culture. So I hope you enjoy. Until then, au revoir. Hey, say wave to the camera. Wave. Woohoo!
Hello.
Wave, Eric.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Every time I've been here before, it's been always amazing. So, and then just hanging out with good old friends makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
So it's about the connections and the people that you're hanging out with, and a good glass of rosé too. That's all that matters, really.
Is there like Olympic Mania? Definitely you can have around there. What are your plans for the Olympics? Like, what are your feelings and everything? Like, what are you going to be doing? What events are you going to go?
Yeah. Do you like the other one? Tomorrow we're all going to see rugby, which Chris is a rugby player, former rugby player.
Cheers.
Busy this week.
Cheers. Santé.
Vive la France. What really sparked you guys to have a passion for traveling, and what are some impact that it has had on your relationship, as wife and husband as well?
I think I should give this to the first question to the subject matter expert on travel. That would be my lovely wife, Erica.
Well, I can say my passion for traveling in ways was initiated when I was a little kid, because my dad is now retired, has been for a while, but he worked for the airlines.
Awesome.
As
I
you know,
remember
because
talking.
we
Yeah,
have that in common.
the Piedmont. Yes.
My dad worked for Piedmont. He would be very proud if I said that originally,
Nice,
and then
nice.
several other airlines.
Yeah.
But even though we were not rich by any stretch, in fact, compared to other friends, we didn't have near as nice stuff or cars or house or whatever, but we traveled in a different way because we could fly for free. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we
Take advantage of
went
it.
all over the country at that time. My dad was not big on getting out of the country, out of his comfort zone, but as kids, we would take vacations across the country. We lived in the eastern part of the country. We would go to the Grand Canyon. We went to California. We went to Montana. But anyway, so just to wrap that up. So that was sort of where that started with my father. However, my eyes really were opened, I think, to my own passion for traveling.
Okay.
When I got a scholarship during my undergrad years. I'm an opera singer originally. I'm not really singing as much anymore, but studied that in school, and I won a scholarship to do overseas study abroad for the summer at it was art song coaching festival sort of thing in Nice, France. And that was my first.
Which is gorgeous, by the way. If anybody has never been, highly recommend to go.
So I spent 2 months, like in 2 consecutive summers there, when I was, I guess, like 18 and 19, I think, about that. And after the first year, I went with my voyage teacher. We did the program in France. We took a week around Italy. I then went to Germany and did another singing program. It was just those two countries that first time, but it completely opened my eyes to the rest of the world.
So amazing.
I got bitten by the travel bug.
Okay. And that's how it usually happens. You do one small thing, and then all of a sudden. But how about you, Chris? How did you get bitten by the travel bug?
So the travel bug for me, as you may know, I do have a deep appreciation for history. Ever since I was a young child, I always had a love of reading about history, and especially castles throughout Europe.
Yes.
So my opportunity for first international travel was through the Army. I was a young soldier, managed make my way over to Germany, and ever since then, back in the early 90s, it's just I just want to go and check out all the spots.
Right.
And now that most of Europe is open up, just going and seeing all the historical sites, anything from pre-Roman history to modern history, I just love it. And and the interactions with the people make it just even that much better, just because you get to learn first person about what their experiences are and how they perceive their own histories as compared to, how people in other places that are maybe a little more provincial love hearing their personal stories and get a better understanding of history through their lens. That's what kind of sparked that fire with me.
What are some misconceptions in travel that you've experienced while you've been doing all your travels and stuff?
Funny thing is with misconceptions is that there's always going to be misconceptions no matter what. And the best way I think to combat it is have a good sense of humor about it and try and educate people as best you can. You just talk to some people and just educate them on the land you're from, and try and open their minds to who you are as an individual and a person. We just had a great experience not that long ago in Moldova when we went to the very far north of it, and we met with a nice young gentleman who was in the tech sector, and we had a great conversation. He was educating us on his very small town in the far north of Moldova.
Oh wow!
Really nearly on the border with Ukraine, separated by a river. And it was such a fantastic experience, just talking to some locals and having a great conversation with them.
So outside of singing, which was my career and is a major passion, one of my other passions, pretty much my entire life, never as a profession until recently, is sports and fitness, all of us. I do a lot of yoga. I'm also a yoga teacher.
And it does help with with stress,
especially
and relaxation and all this other stuff.
Stress,
too as well,
absolutely.
While traveling and stuff.
And just sort of finding your center, but also physically, like you're sleeping in different beds every night. You're traveling, you're spending long hours on a plane or a train. So the physical part of yoga too, the stretching, I do that pretty regularly when I'm traveling, even if it's just 20-30 minutes in my hotel room, sometimes longer.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I find a nice park or something like this and I do some on my own.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just a quick thing, but also just fitness. A lot of times I will book a hotel that has a gym. If it's all the same otherwise, I will absolutely pick one that has a gym. That'll be my deciding factor.
Hey there, everyone. We are back on the road. If you have noticed, we're not in Paris. We're in a city called Caen. And I think what I'm going to do is, while we're doing this Olympic Mania, we're going to start filming and our journey of all the shit that we're doing while here doing all the Olympic stuff. We don't have any events right now, but while we're not having any events, myself, Erica, Chris, we're going to be traveling the northern part of France. And where are we going first, Erica?
Mont Saint-Michel, ce soir.
I've never been, so I'm excited about that. So we decided to do all that. We're about 2 hours outside of Paris. So we're going to do all this stuff. So you guys are going to see a little bit of video clips here and there from us doing all kinds of crazy shit, because that's what we crazy Americans do. We just love traveling in a lot of culture bullshit stuff. Again, don't get sensitive. I don't mean bullshit as in what the word says. Just watch, we enjoy, and we'll take you along our journey. Say hi, Chris. Hello. We're at Mont Saint-Michel. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the view here. Let me flip it over. I hope you guys can hear me because I forgot the mics. It's a bit windy here, and I'm screaming on purpose So this was one of the places that I've always wanted to come to see. I haven't had any time to do it, and we're finally here, and we're excited. We're gonna do a what is it called? The tour. What is it?
We're gonna go tour the Abbey, which is the entire island, basically.
So we're gonna tour the entire island. You saw what it looked like. It's literally before high tide or whatever it is. The water comes in and all this other good stuff. But it's really cool. It's pretty Game of Thrones-ish. So I'm pretty excited, and you'll hear me and see me coming in and out of this damn thing, and it's gonna be cool. I don't know the history of it, so I'm sorry I won't be able to tell you. And I asked Erica, and she doesn't want to give.
I don't know yet. We're about to go
Well,
get a
tell
tour.
me what you think it might be.
I said I don't think that the actual island itself is of much historical significance, other than the fact that it's a famous abbey that's been there forever. But mostly what it's known for is the fact that it's gorgeous.
Okay.
People have been coming here because it's this isolated abbey on this peninsula of land, or like that gets covered at high tide, and that's what it's known for.
All right.
From what I know.
Well then, people, stay tuned.
Ask us in like 2 hours.
Ask us in.
Have better info.
Yeah, ask us in 2 hours. Bear with us. We're just fucking excited, and we're wanting to do this shit right now.
Right, Chris?
And Chris is our bodyguard because he doesn't like to smile too much. But we're having so much fun. I promise you. Stay tuned. I'll show you guys some more. We'll talk a little bit more. I have no idea why I'm cursing so much. I apologize. But it's because I'm outside of Paris now. So anyway, I'll be on my best behavior. Stay tuned. We'll be talking a little bit more about that and getting a good more feel of the historical facts of this place.
Sure.
And so on. What up? What up? Good morning. Is it morning? No, it's afternoon. So this is like day 2 of the Normandy excursion and adventures. Say hello, Erica, Christopher, aka Chris. We are now at, I can't even say the word right. Pontoise. Well, basically the cliffs.
Point to Hawk on English.
Yeah, and we're just doing the history lessons of, D-Day and all the heroic of everything that's happening to save, this part of the region. So far, Erica, what did you like so far of Normandy?
Oh, Normandy. I thought you meant this video.
No.
I was like, now I'm about to cry.
We just saw a video
Just
and stuff. But I was just curious. What is your take so far? How you like Normandy? I know it's over clouds today, but it was pretty nice weather.
It's a beautiful region.
Yeah?
It's striking in that
Go over here.
some of the places we went yesterday, in particular, like going along the beach, Omaha Beach and all, where these literally like thousands of people died. You can imagine that, but it's, in a way, it's actually, I think, pleasant to see how now it's just families running around and kids smiling and laughing and people using the beach, because I feel like that's what all those men who died on the shores
But here's one
would
thing.
have wanted, was that it was now peaceful and happy.
Well, one thing we did that I didn't even know, and I just learned about it. This is why it's good to travel. But we also noticed something when we went to Omaha Beach, where the statues or where the monuments were, sculptures.
Yeah, monument, whatever.
And even though, I thought it was, and you did too as well, on why would people use it to make themselves, cover themselves from shade. So it was kind of like, in my mind, would you agree, disrespectful?
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I think it's disrespectful that they're like literally leaning against this monument that's installed there on the beach for shade and whatever, to sit out of the sun. On the other hand, like I said, there's a part of me that's like, when these guys who gave their lives there really have been upset. Most of them probably did this so that families could come and have fun and not have to worry about this stuff and not have to,
Yeah, but it's a gorgeous. I think they've done. It's a little of both, but I just thought, if they're gonna do something like that, the point is not to use it for shade or anything like that. The monuments are there for one reason and one reason only, and it's to respect it. But just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So now we're gonna go and enjoy learning more about, the battles and Pontoise and so on. Until next time, you'll see. We'll continue with our discovery and our journey. Au revoir. We are now in I'm going to screw this up, but let me just explain it to you. As I was saying, I was going to be visiting all the northern parts of France in Normandy. And this is an interesting place that we're traveling to. Myself, Chris over here, and Erica.
Say some history.
Hi, guys. We're
Hello.
doing the history part of things. Now, one of the things that is interesting is that we are at, and I will show a little bit, but we are at a cemetery memorial for German soldiers, correct?
Correct.
For me, I'm confused, but I'm going to hear and learn more about it kind of thing, because this is World War II, and I'm trying to figure out why would you have any for the Germans. But, you know, this is the stuff that obviously open your mind to different things. So as we look around and stuff like that, I'm going to just show a little bit of where we're. Beautiful cemetery, by the way. This is just the outside of it. And as you can see, it's off the highway kind of thing. But the goal is to obviously, you know, open your mind to things and being able to understand, you know, things that you haven't really knew about. Because obviously I'm thinking to myself, it's about World War II, and it's, you know, obviously the Germans started World War II, and I'm trying to figure out why would you have such a beautiful cemetery, as you can see here. That's very well kept, and we're going to learn a little bit about it. And we saw this and we said, yeah, let's go check it out and see what's what. So stay tuned again. I think this is great. The weather is great. And as I said, you know, while we're waiting, you know, to not, you know, we don't have any Olympic tickets until later on next week. And we're just going to tour around the northern part of France, specifically Normandy area and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and I will be bringing you, you know, live updates of some of the places that we go and talk a bit more on why do we want to do it again and stuff like this. But it will be great.
Well, that was amazing. That adventure.
Yes.
And thank
Yeah.
you for like doing all that, those videos and putting it all together. I wish I was there. In fact, my dad was like, I thought you were going to the Olympics.
Yeah, I thought you guys were all gonna try to make it out here because it would have been much
Yeah.
fun. And it was spontaneous, really, when we said we were gonna go, and when we don't have tickets, because we didn't go to all the events, of course, but we went
You're
to,
right.
you know, 3 or 4 different
You had a
events.
good amount of events. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we-
did.
a
we
lot
went
of
to-
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, we went and we saw some my favorite sport, track and field.
Seriously,
Because
yes.
The French say l'athlétisme.
Yeah,
something like
or
that. It's
athletics
really
or something or
athlétisme,
whatever.
Yeah, anyway, I
Yeah.
butchered it. Sorry, Guillaume.
Yeah,
And-
but
no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
Butchered.
that was
totally butchered
yeah,
it.
but I mean, the track and field. I mean, those are. I mean, that's a serious event.
That's super
you know?
cool.
And we
yeah.
had great seats
No kidding.
on the lower level
Yeah.
of the stadium, and it was amazing to be
Yeah.
able to just experience it at the Olympics. And I, for one, understand.
Yeah, you were right next to the dudes with the cameras. That's crazy.
Yes, and I'm sure the people that can you know, view this podcast can see some of the footage that is going across the screen. And followed by that was our first event, which was rugby,
Yeah.
which insane.
So you saw the bronze medal match?
Yeah, so we saw, again, I don't understand rugby. My friend who came to visit, Chris,
Mhm.
is the
Chris, yeah.
rugby player, and he was actually teaching, but it was like amazing. Like New Zealand, oh my God.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're known.
They're
for
pretty good.
rugby.
Yeah.
So
It
we
really
saw the semifinals, and
Okay,
if
you
we
saw
had
the
stayed,
semifinals.
yeah, but if we had stayed in the stadium, which I didn't know, we could.
Oh, you could have stayed.
We could have
Oh,
stayed
Oh,
and seen.
okay, that would have been cool.
In the stadium, like the announcers or whatever, they actually did do exactly that. They tried to explain before the game start how the game is played.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. So that was really cool. You know, the other game we actually saw was beach volleyball.
Right.
Now, when I
Yeah.
say I always make fun of the French, but when I tell you when it comes to like elegance and the showmanship of something, like the French has it down packed. When they want to,
Yeah.
when they want you to say "oh la la,"
Well,
I mean, you
did
saw
see
the beach
the footage.
volleyball stadium.
Yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
they definitely tried to go out of the box with their opening ceremony, because normally it's like in a
Yes.
stadium, so everyone can kind of see what's happening.
It's the
But this
first
was like
time ever doing
all
it.
over the Seine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I'm
Having
not
it
sure.
out of the stadium.
Like
Yeah.
for people that
Mhm.
weren't, you couldn't see everything. So you were definitely like, if you were on some bridge over here, you weren't going to see what was happening.
Mm-mm. So
mean-
here's Go ahead, Trisha.
But
I'm
it's
sorry.
no, but what I'm saying is that, it's definitely a destination of,
Mhm.
the different points. If, if you're visiting Paris, they forced you to go to the different areas, to
Mm.
Yeah.
visit different points, which I mean, honestly, I love, because not only you're getting to see,
The beauty of the city.
of the city, but also the events, right? So the different
Yeah.
stadiums, the different arenas. So that's actually really cool, I
Well,
think.
I did read, because I was reading Le Monde,
Mm.
and they were saying that like the whole world did not have the same viewership experience. Like, it's being
Yes.
broadcast in America, but like in
Mm.
other, so in some countries like
Okay.
Morocco, the Moroccan channels for like 15 minutes were just showing the Louvre, because it was like people not clothed really a lot. They weren't wearing a lot of
Yes.
clothing, and so they weren't going to broadcast that in a Muslim country,
Right.
half naked people. So I thought that was interesting, because usually
Cultural
everyone's
dynamics
seeing the
between
same thing.
diff-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it,
And-
the whatever the director envisioned, that's not what
Mhm.
everyone saw.
Well, I could
Yeah.
tell you another great point, Benef. Well, everything that they did was the first.
Mhm.
No
Mhm.
one has ever entered, every time, like you said, when you watch the Olympic opening ceremony, everyone
The boats.
is well,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying normally you walk into the track
Yeah,
and
right,
everybody
right.
stand
Yeah.
there.
The
And
stadium.
no one would have thought, coming in on a river. And you're right,
Yeah.
not everyone can see wherever. It was just so like the French know how to be elegant when they want to be. Yeah. And the whole storytelling and, from the horse, which I think was Joan of Arc, I'm assuming. And okay, there were a little bit of things that people thought was very controversial, because I heard it from family
Yeah.
members of mine too as well. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
There was nothing controversial. It was
Right.
Yeah,
just,
it
I
was-
think people.
It was
They
not
weren't-
the Last Supper, people.
Yeah.
No,
So they
not
weren't
it
the
trying to
definitely
Last
wasn't the. It was
Christians.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
all
about
I'm
the
gonna say.
Olympics. The
Greeks are
Greeks back in the
already- yeah.
day.
Yeah.
But everybody thought it was the Last Supper, and I'm like, no, it's not.
I
And
feel like that's a case of, I don't know if it was just Americans that thought that, but is that a case
it was
of
Americans.
just
No,
making everything about them?
Yeah,
It's
it was
like,
Americans.
It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
Or
it was
Christians.
Americans and maybe some
Yeah.
Brits, but it was
Like,
Americans.
get a grip. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because, what I pretty much said to that was, well, you could turn the channel, or because I know I've heard those statements, but I'm here to say it was, kudos to the French, because I was one of the skeptics that said they're not going to be done on time, because they were still building shit like a week before the Olympics and stuff
That
like
was
this.
the disguise.
Well, there's always a
That was the
last minute
disguise.
production.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
But
kinda,
that
was-
but that was to me, that was the awe to me, because
Mhm.
I just remember what you were telling us, and even, outside of what we had discussed,
Yeah.
not, not, on the show, but just, just in passing, privately, what we had
Yeah.
discussed and what you had posted and what we saw, what had, been revealed. And a lot of what the sportscasters and all the broadcasters and everyone else was saying is that a lot of the things that we witnessed had not even been tested, had never
No.
been actually fully functioning, if you will.
Look, yeah.
That it had never been tested. So
from that to the balloon.
That was the first time. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Because how would they have done like
that
a
is
full
my
rehearsal?
favorite part.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that to me, the balloon.
Well, that's
oh my
the
God.
the lighting of the torch.
The
That was
cauldron
another.
and having that was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
The fact that you have the torch. Normally, the lighting of the torch is in the track stadium, and it stays there lit in the track stadium. But it's a balloon that they did over, Tulare Gardens.
The balloon's still going?
Yeah,
Yes,
every night until the Olympics.
So do I understand? It stays lit, but during the day it's actually lowered.
Exactly.
And then at night it goes back up.
Correct.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really
So, hot air
cool.
balloon? Huh.
It's some damn balloon. I don't know if it's hot or not, but it's some balloon that
it
goes.
symbolizes, but it's supposed to symbolize. I can't remember
But
what
it's
it is.
light.
But
It's the torch, basically.
yes. So it symbolizes the light, and it's lowered. It's still lit, but it's lowered during the day. But then at sunset, it then begins to rise and go.
It's just
I think it's
gorgeous.
the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And
it rivals the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. I will be remiss if I did not mention about, the Parisians might have done a good job because it's empty as shit here.
Oh, you mean, well, it's August.
It's empty.
When they leave, yeah.
Yeah, like normally they leave in August, which it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
But there's no problem with the train system here, as they protested and said it was going to be too many people.
Yeah.
There was no issues with. It's just weird because you see the stadiums; they're completely packed. So clearly there are tourists here.
Yeah.
There's no issues with all that. I think one thing that, if I have to criticize, is they really ramped up security, and they made it obnoxiously annoying because they're telling. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's obnoxious and it's annoying.
Well, what kind of security are you talking? Like,
I'm talking about the whole Paris.
They're going to have security.
Right.
Correct. But the obnoxious part is when you're telling people to show up at the stadium 1 hour and 30 minutes early than the start of a game. That's the obnoxious part. Because, and then in order
I don't know that I find that too obnoxious. Just being early. How is that obnoxious?
And just sitting there in a stadium with the sun beating down on your face for an hour and 30 minutes.
That is a long time.
It's obnoxious and annoying. Well, then in order to get, like, for example, to the track and field stadium, once you get off the train, you think you're there. You see it, but it's an extra 20-minute walk because the way how they do the security. So, and I'm bitching because I didn't want to walk that far in the heat. But kudos to them again. You saw cops, like I hear cops walking down my block on horses, which is, you hear the clicking of the horse.
They're walking on the horses.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this clicking noise? But yeah, they did that. And by the Eiffel Tower, which I think that's probably the most well-used area by, with the volleyball, as folks can see with the videos.
Well, and then is it like all along the Seine? Is there security?
Oh God, yes. Like it's insane on
and
how
I heard it was still dirty. Like people trying to swim in it. They had to triathlon.
I did see some of my friend went and saw some of the triathlon events, and yeah, they did swim. There were a couple of folks that end up in the hospital.
Well, you said you saw somebody throw some trash in there.
Oh, before the Olympics, yes. It was just weird, and I'm sure it was a protest in front of my face, and the cops was not too far. And there's a lady, she just had we just didn't know what it was. She had a bag of like a garbage bag.
Vicious material.
There was
hazardous waste, biohazard.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was it was
shit
like
in a bag and was like, I'm gonna throw this in the
But it looked like chicken. like like cooked, like not cooked chicken, but like chicken,
Raw
like
chicken bits.
raw
Yeah, raw
chicken.
chicken or something.
Yeah, it just looked like that, but I don't know. But she literally just walked up over the bridge, smiled, and just took her baggie out and emptied it all in the river. And I'm just
That's
like,
wild.
did
That's
that
so
just happen in
wrong.
front of me? Yes.
Well, I mean, I think the article that I read was that they were concerned. I know that some of the athletes had said that they had ran into debris and that they were concerned. They were concerned about what was in there.
Oh,
And that,
what was the debris?
There's a
Because it's
lot
like you're
of things that
swimming
they
in this
pulled.
murky water.
There's
yeah,
a lot of things that they pulled out of that water.
I mean, I've just been really loving all the posts on Instagram of all the Olympians that are taking, photos together, and you could totally
I mean,
see.
Simone Biles and I forget the other
just-
American girl who did
Jordan,
the
oh, absolutely, or just fangirling over each other. But I mean, I'm just saying, just like from Australia and from China, and just just loving how everyone is just a fan of each other, and they really are just uplifting each other, and they're just, I don't know.
I think no. I mean that's a good point, Tricia, and I think also because look, the world is kind of cuckoo right now with conflicts here and there, and with the situation that's happening in the Middle East and stuff like this. I felt I didn't feel scared at all, even when I was in the volleyball stadium, and clearly we're playing the Swiss because they have their little whatever, and we're making fun of it. And it's just that even though you're competing and everybody's flag is flying high, and we got Americans, we're obnoxious, go USA.
I mean, is there have you ever seen an angry Swiss person? I don't know.
Like compared to us, no. Didn't feel like you didn't get an anxiety of anger or someone mad because
I think because I do think
like
it's
this.
because there's so many different countries. It's not like the World Cup too. I don't know. Like the Olympics seems to be more esprit de corps, whatever.
Yeah, like people came together.
Yeah, and the World Cup is more like win or die. Like I don't. It's just a lot more.
But I mean, like but people are intense when they're cheering for their country. They are intense.
Absolutely.
And I saw that, some of the countries that are very intense are Americans, the Brits, the Germans did not
also
sleep there.
read the United States and Canada, and I forgot what other country did bring
they brought air conditioning
for their athletes.
Oh yeah, but majority of the athletes, of my understanding, to include America, because I know the basketball team did not sleep there, and which rightfully so. I don't think LeBron James, who's worth
you mean the professional players?
Is gonna sleep in the athletic village, and most of the players did not sleep in the athletic village because they just said that it was not, and they said they ran out of food, like different nutritional food. So that was something that was not getting great press here and stuff like this. And you saw like Benef, you mentioned about the Italian athlete, like literally sleeping.
Yeah, that is
outside,
crazy. Like a homeless person. My God.
Yeah, like he just won the gold medal. Like seriously, come on. But other than that, everything else was smooth sailing. Now, just to transition a little bit, just to give a 2 cents on some of the things, not only we did the Olympic adventure and stuff like this, we decided spontaneously to travel and see a different part of France. And we decided to do, the northern region of France in Normandy. And, we went to, for example, you're going to laugh at me, Benef, but I'll say it, Mont Saint-Michel, which is basically Mount Saint Michael's.
Mount Saint
Michael's. Yes.
Mount Saint Michael.
If you've never been there, and if it's been a while since you've been, like, go. It's almost, only way I can describe it, because it's my first time there, is it's like Game of Thrones. It's like I'm waiting I'm serious. I'm waiting for the dragon to just fly over to just pick me up. to take me up to the mountain or something like this. And it was just stunning.
Dracarys?
Yeah. And one thing that I ended, some of my journey was going to the German cemetery for the soldiers of World War II. Now, I never knew there was, in my mind, I'm just like, okay, am I stupid? Why are you going to honor the people that tried to kill you? This is lessons learned for me. I went to they had a little museum there.
I mean, I wonder if it's different honoring the actual soldiers who probably didn't have a choice to fight. They were just, you got to do this.
It was
versus
something that was
the German government. It's not like they were honoring Nazis. They were honoring those people that were drafted and forced to fight and died.
I don't know. Something happened. They shook hands. I understood that they shook on it. And this was something that was not like a long time ago that it was built. It was, I want to say it was built in the late 80s.
Wow.
I loved it. We enjoyed the fact of just being able to not just staying in Paris, but instead we just jumped out of our comfort zone and we just said, let's do this, and we, hopped on a train, which that's the most great thing about being here in Europe.
Yeah.
Everything is so well connected. And I think the moral of the story is, I always say, like Nike, just do it. Don't think too much about where you're traveling or what you're doing and stuff. I want to thank all of our listeners and our supporters for continuing to stick with us. But hey, this could not be, done without you guys. So if you haven't already, please do, like, subscribe. And we definitely would love to hear feedback from our supporters and new timers and anyone that comes on the channel to see us. We would really appreciate it. And until next time, we hope you enjoyed our Olympic journey and our experience. This was wonderful. And until next time.
Ciao. Salut.